If you own a house in America, you are sitting on a gold mine, but there is a good chance you're using it wrong. We are all raised with the same financial commandment: pay off your mortgage as fast as possible. We're told debt is a burden. But look at the wealthy. Look at the real estate moguls who actually build lasting wealth. They don't just pay off their debt, they transform it. What if I told you there is a completely legal strategy that allows you to convert your dead mortgage interest into a tax-deductible investment engine? It is called the debt swap. It can help you pay off your house in half the time and build a $1 million portfolio for free. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact IRS rules and the specific mortgage tool the big banks don't want you to know about. You'll want to watch this till the end because once you see how this works, you'll never look at your house the same way again. Before we call the bank, we need to rewire your brain. We're raised to hate debt. We're taught that being debt-free is the ultimate destination. And sure, if you have zero debt and $1 million in cash, life's good. But the path to get there isn't by destroying debt, it's by converting it. You see, the IRS doesn't view all debt equally. They view it in two categories: bad debt and good debt. Bad debt is money you borrow to buy things that lose value or just sit there. Your car loan is bad debt, your credit card balance from that vacation is terrible debt, and your mortgage, yes, even your mortgage is technically bad debt. Why? Because your house doesn't generate taxable income. You live in it. It consumes cash. It doesn't produce it. Therefore, the interest you pay on that massive loan is effectively post-tax money. You have to earn $1.50 at your job, pay 50 cents in tax, just to give the bank $1 of interest. Good debt is different. Good debt is money you borrow to invest in something that generates income. Think about a business, a rental property, or a portfolio of dividend stocks. Because you're trying to earn taxable income, the IRS allows you to deduct the cost of borrowing, the interest, from your taxes. The debt swap is simply a conveyor belt. We're not paying off your debt faster. We're keeping your total debt exactly the same. But every single month, we're moving a chunk of debt from the bad pile to the good pile. We're painting the debt green. When you finish this process, you'll still owe the bank money. But instead of a non-deductible mortgage costing you thousands, you'll have a fully tax-deductible investment loan that generates a refund every year. That's the goal. So, can you do this with your current mortgage? Probably not. Most Americans have a standard amortizing mortgage. You pay principal and interest, the balance goes down, and that equity sits trapped in your drywall until you sell the house. To execute the debt swap, you need a specific tool. It's called an all-in-one loan or a Re-Advancable HELOC. If you walk into your bank branch and ask for this, the teller might look blankly at you. You need to know how it works. Imagine your total borrowing limit is 80% of your home's value. Let's say that's $800,000. This limit is split into two boxes. Box 1 is the mortgage. This is your standard loan. Box 2 is the HELOC. This is a revolving credit line. In a standard HELOC, you have to apply to increase your limit. In a Re-Advancable mortgage, these two boxes are linked. It works like a seesaw. Every time you make a mortgage payment, let's say $2,000 of principal, your mortgage balance drops by $2,000. Instantly, automatically, and without you asking, your HELOC limit increases by exactly $2,000. This automatic re-advanceability is the engine. It gives you immediate access to the equity you just paid off. In the US, you won't find this at every big box bank. You'll need to look for an all-in-one loan or an offset mortgage. And if your bank doesn't offer one, don't worry. You can still execute a manual debt swap using a standard HELOC. It's one extra click per month, but the tax savings remain exactly the same. Okay, you've got the mortgage. How do you actually do the maneuver? Let's walk through a single month step by step. Day 1, the payment. Your regular mortgage payment comes out of your checking account. Let's say it's $3,500. Now, mortgages are front-loaded with interest, so maybe $1,500 of that's interest going to the bank's profit, and $2,000 is actually paying down your principal. That $2,000 is the number we care about. Day 2. The access. You log into your online banking. Because you have a Re-Advancable mortgage, you'll see something beautiful. Your mortgage balance has dropped by $2,000 and your available credit on your HELOC has increased by exactly $2,000. Day 3. The borrow. You take that $2,000 from the HELOC and you transfer it to your checking account. This is a critical moment. You're now borrowing money. The clock starts ticking on interest. Day 4. The transfer. You move that $2,000 from your checking account into your investment account. Warning, this must be a taxable brokerage account. Don't put this in your Roth IRA or your 401k. Day 5. The investment. You invest that $2,000. What do you buy? The IRS requires you to invest in assets with a reasonable expectation of income. This usually means dividend stocks or ETFs that pay distributions. Day 30. The deduction. At the end of the month, the bank charges you interest on the HELOC. Let's say it's $10. You pay that $10 because that $10 cost was incurred directly to earn investment income. According to the IRS tracing rules, this interest is now reclassified. If you take $50,000 from a HELOC and buy a car, it's personal and not deductible. But if you take that same $50,000 and move it directly into a brokerage account to buy dividend-paying ETFs, the IRS legally reclassifies that debt as investment interest. It's now tax-deductible. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds like a lot of work just to buy some stocks. But we haven't talked about the turbocharger yet, the tax refund. Now, let's look at year 5. You've been running this engine for 60 months. By staying disciplined, you've successfully swapped $120,000 of your dead mortgage into this productive investment loan. This year, you paid $10,000 in interest to maintain that loan. Most people see $10,000 in interest as a loss. The Zen investor sees it as a $10,000 tax shield. When you file your taxes, you use IRS Form 4952. You deduct that entire $10,000 from your income. In a high tax bracket, the government effectively cuts your interest cost in half. They send you a tax refund check for $5,000. This is found money. It's $5,000 of capital that simply did not exist inside your old, inefficient mortgage structure. The average person takes that $5,000 and buys a luxury vacation. But you know better. You take that $5,000 check and fire it right back into your mortgage principal. Your mortgage drops by $5,000 instantly. Your HELOC limit rises by that same $5,000 automatically. You borrow that found $5,000 and buy even more dividend-paying assets. You've officially turned a tax bill into a wealth-generating flywheel that feeds itself. This cycles how people pay off a 30-year mortgage in 15 years. Now that you're understanding the flow, we need to talk about what you buy. This is where 90% of people get into trouble. You can't just use this money to gamble on meme stocks or buy Bitcoin. If you break the IRS rules, your interest deduction will be denied and you'll be audited. The rule's this: you can only deduct interest if the borrowed money is used to buy an asset that has a reasonable expectation of income. Income means dividends, interest, or rent. It doesn't mean capital gains. The green light list: dividend stocks, ETFs that pay distributions like SCHD, rental properties, and business investments. The red light list: don't buy gold or silver. Bullion pays zero income. It only goes up in value. Interest isn't deductible. Crypto's a no-go. And remember the golden rule: no tax-advantaged accounts. You can't get a tax deduction for borrowing money to make tax-free income in a Roth IRA. Now, a quick professional note. The IRS limits your investment interest deduction to your net investment income. If your stocks don't pay dividends this year, you don't lose the deduction. You just carry it forward to next year. You're essentially building a tax shield for your future self. I know what some of you are thinking. I can barely afford my regular mortgage as it is. How am I supposed to pay the extra interest on a HELOC? Here is the best part. You don't actually need extra cash out of your pocket to make this work. There is a technique called capitalizing the interest. Think of it as making the loan pay for itself. Let's say your HELOC balance is $100,000, and at a 6% rate, the bank charges you about $500 in interest this month. Instead of pulling that $500 from your paycheck, you just draw an additional $500 from the HELOC itself to cover the bill. It might feel a bit strange to borrow money to pay for borrowed money, but it is a perfectly legal accounting move. Why? Because the IRS sees that new $500 as part of the cost of your investment. That means the interest on that new $500 is also tax deductible. This completely removes the cash flow pressure. You keep paying your regular mortgage, the HELOC handles its own interest, and you keep your focus on growing your portfolio. Now, we're at the hardest part. It isn't the math or the tax forms, it's the psychology. Most of us were raised to fear debt. We're taught that the only way to win is to see that balance hit zero. If you start this debt swap today with a $400,000 mortgage and you do it perfectly for 20 years, guess what your total debt will be in 2 decades? $400,000. Your original mortgage will be gone, but you'll have a $400,000 investment loan sitting in its place. If the sight of a large debt balance keeps you up at night, this strategy will break you. You have to train your brain to stop staring at the debt and start looking at your net worth. Let's look at the scorecard after 20 years. Your debt is $400,000. Your house has grown to $1.2 million. And your stock portfolio is worth $800,000. That puts your net worth at $1.6 million. You're a multimillionaire, but on paper, you still owe the bank nearly $500,000. Can you handle that? Can you sleep soundly knowing you owe that money? If the answer is no, then this isn't the right path for you. So, how does this actually end? Eventually, your mortgage is paid off. You own the house free and clear of that bad debt. And you're left with a massive, tax-deductible HELOC. You have 2 choices. Path A is the clean break. This is for the investor who wants total peace of mind. You simply sell off enough of your stocks to wipe out the loan. If your portfolio is worth $800,000 and you owe $400,000, you sell half, pay the bank, and walk away with a paid-off house and $400,000 in cash. Path B is the infinite yield. This is what the wealthy do. They realize that as long as their stocks pay out more in dividends than the loan costs after taxes, it's actually a mistake to pay it off. They keep the debt forever, let the government subsidize the interest, and just live off the difference. I'd be irresponsible if I didn't mention the risks. This is leverage, and leverage can cut both ways. Risk 1 is the callable loan. A HELOC is technically a demand loan. If you read the fine print, the bank can ask for that money back whenever they want. While they rarely do this as long as you're making payments, they can freeze your limit if the housing market crashes. This is why we never borrow more than 30% of our equity. We keep a safety buffer so the bank can't crush our strategy. Risk 2 is rising rates. HELOC rates are floating. If the Federal Reserve raises rates, your costs jump. That's why we always keep a cash wedge, at least 3 to 6 months of expenses, so we're never forced to sell our stocks at the bottom of a market cycle. The debt swap is a power tool. It takes discipline and a long-term mindset, but it's the single most effective way for a regular American to build wealth. Now that you have the blueprint for your debt, you need to know exactly where to put that capital. If you want to see what millionaires are quietly buying while everyone else is panicking over headlines, you need to watch my deep dive on the global macro shift right here. I appreciate you watching. If you like the content, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.